Okay, so just when I hit post, I thought of something. So I did contact. Well, I do all the time, but I was gonna say I did contact someone's passed on loved one, but so it was someone's husband, and 20 years had passed, so it definitely wasn't new and fresh, but he was around her, and what was odd and about this was that so when you come see me, it was during a psychic reading. I tap into your energy about like 10-15 minutes beforehand, just so I can, talk to your guides, tap into your energy, get like a psychic vision for you, so that when we connect, like we're rocking and rolling. Um, I don't need to stop saying because I counted that last video and I was saying so many times. So I'm going to try to be better. But when I was connecting with her, I was like, so do you have like a husband or a boyfriend? Because there was a male energy around her that was quite jealous. And she's like, no, I'm not dating anybody. And I was like, okay, well then who is this male? And she was like, I have no idea who you're talking about because it's just me and my disabled daughter here. And I'm going, okay, there's definitely a male around you. And they get kind of jealous. And I saw them in my head. So I said, this person is kind of like a ruddy face, kind of like red. I'm going to say, but I'm not short. I think I said he was like, he wore baggy clothes. Like I saw the jeans kind of hanging off of him. And I said, who is this person? And she says, you're describing my husband, but he passed on 20 years ago. And I said, well, okay, I had a name that came up and it started with the R. And I said, is this the name? And she goes, no, the name, it was close though. I'm not going to say the name. It was close though. And I said, okay. And I still wasn't convinced. And I'm saying, but this person, you have no idea who I'm talking about. And she goes, no, just my husband who passed on. But this person, so when someone is passed on, they present as passed on. This person did not present as passed on. And I was telling her, this person does not present as passed on. They are presenting like they are still with you. And so we were talking for a little bit, maybe a couple minutes more, then it hit me. Because I saw them like in a cloud. And I say, you know what? I think this is your husband. I said, how did they die? It must have been really sudden because they don't know that they're dead. And she told me he had a heart attack. She's like right in front of me. We were in the living room and had a heart attack. Just dropped. But I said, oh, okay. Well, that's why he's presenting this way, because he doesn't know that he died. And I said, I know you didn't sign up for this, because she actually came to me because she was thinking about moving from the family home. She still lives in the home, but of course she was still kind of attached to it. So she just wanted to know, like, should she leave, or, where should she go? Just some normal everyday, just wanting to see a psychic about just direction in her life. And I said, okay, well, he's there. He's still trapped in the house, stuck like kind of like in a fog in this one area. And I determined that since he wasn't aware that he had died, he was so jealous because he thought that he was a bad husband. When you're dead and you don't understand, time doesn't work like that. So even though it had been 20 years here, to him it had not been 20 years. So in fact, when I told him it was 20 years, he was quite shocked. His exact words were 20 years. So he was quite shocked when he found out. And so I said, okay, you're going to have to, I said, no, you didn't sign up for this. And I don't want to open a can of worms of hurt that you've probably gotten over and you've lived through and you've moved on from. But you're going to have to tell him, either with me or with someone else or by yourself, it doesn't matter, that he has passed on. I said, you're going to have to tell him what happened. And she was such a trooper. Like, she was such a trooper because, again, it had been so long, she was just able to tell him. There was like no crying, which from my other video you can see like I whatever. So she told him. She told him exactly what happened. And like a light bulb went off in his head, and that's when he was like 20 years. Like this happened 20 years. She told him everything was fine. He had been thinking that he was such a bad husband. He had been trying to connect with her. He was thinking there was something wrong with him. And he was jealous because she was starting to like get into spirituality and started connecting with Source and God. And he was like, well, you can do all these things, but why aren't you connecting with me? And so he was jealous that she was like living her life and moving on, and he didn't realize that he had passed on. And so it didn't take long to convince him at all. Light bulb went off in his head. I kind of felt it, because then that cloud that he had been stuck in lifted, just lifted. And I told her, okay, well, now you got to open up windows, and like it had lifted. And she's like, okay, I just want him to move on. And I'm like, he's right here with you. He's not moving on. In fact, he was like, no, I want us to go to the grocery store. He had been trapped in the living room where he had passed on 20 years. And so he was like, no, I want to go visiting. He went to go see some people, and he was like, I want us to go grocery shopping. And she started laughing, and she was like, that used to be our thing. We used to go grocery shopping together. And I said, yeah, take him grocery shopping. And then she was like, well, what about moving? And he was like, move. He said, move. And so we had figured out like not a code, but she was very specific, find a place where their wedding anniversary was in the address. And so that would be her code to like, yes, this is where we can live now. But so things like that are beautiful. So yeah, I can connect to, the past on loved ones. Personally, I just don't like the pain, but I'll do it. But I just want it to be right for you. And again, it's my limitation. If it's like if it just happened 2 weeks ago, if you come to me, I'm going to say, I think we should wait. Okay, that was the story.